Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your latest Manchester United transfer news at the start of another big week. Things are hotting up. It's hot. I'm so hot. It's 10 o'clock in the UK and it's really, really hot. And it's really hot around Man United transfer news. Big meeting taking place at Manchester United today. We'll talk about what that entails. There is some breaking news coming out about Hermoso, but also Lindelof, Ugarte, McTominay, Sander Berge. Loads being discussed today at Carrington with Barada, Brailsford, Ashworth, Ten Hag. We'll talk about that. We've also got some really exclusive information around Xirkzee and why he didn't play on Saturday. Ligt and Mazraoui, you might have been following it. They've already flown in. They're in Manchester now. There was a delay to their flight, but they are in Manchester today to officially do their medicals and maybe officially get holding up the shirts. We'll see about that. Surely it would be a double shirt. I think the last time we did a double shirt, I think Daley Blind was involved and he was Dutch as well. Also got the latest for you, what's happening with Aaron Wan-Bissaka and a few other bits as well with regards to what is going on. But it's all about the start of a big week for Manchester United, isn't it? I just want to apologise, actually. I'm very disconcerted this morning. I don't know whether you've ever had this where you live, but for the last hour, there just seems to be a rumbling in the sky outside every 2 minutes. And I thought, oh, it's thunder. I went outside. It's clear blue sky. It just keeps happening. It's weird and it's from the sky. And I'm just keep thinking, is this it? Is this the end? I won't even get to see Man United with the lit. But yeah, it's there are thunderstorms apparently, but I can't see any in the sky. It's just clear blue skies. So maybe it's like traveling from a long way away. I don't know. But apocalypse maybe as well. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, look, hopefully it will stop soon. I'm panicking. Not, you know, anything, three things worry me: sharks, polar bears, thunderstorms. Oh, and there is a fourth. But it's absolutely fantastic, says Ants James TV. Let's hit the news then. I mean, I don't know really where to start this morning. It's a bit of a pick and mix. You've got some good choices here. Let's start with the transfer meeting that is taking place today at Carrington. So very good sources pulling this in. I mean, just to throw one out there, I think it was Simon Jones in the Daily Mail mentioned it as well. So Manchester United, obviously, we spoke about this actually, didn't we? We spoke about phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 of the transfer window was really getting rid of Wan-Bissaka and bringing in Ugarte, yes, De Ligt and Mazraoui. We're nearly at the end of phase 1 where we get those three in and Wan-Bissaka goes and maybe a midfielder goes. And I think what the conversation today is going to be about is about what the next steps are going to be, because we actually have only got about, 20 days left of this transfer window, so under 3 weeks. So United need to look at what they're going to do, because that's a very, very short period of time. Now, we'll talk about De Ligt and Mazraoui in a moment. They are actually in Manchester now. I mean, very exciting. I've got a video going up on De Ligt actually very soon. I'm just very, very excited about this deal. Oh, also, for those who care, my Premier League predictions video is going up at 11 o'clock on That's Football, and I was drunk again. I won't be predicting Man United win the Champions League because we're not in it, but there we go. MMA Takedown says very bad thunder and lightning in Ireland last night. Maybe it's an echo. But yeah, so what's on the agenda for Manchester United? Well, Hermoso is definitely on the agenda, and transfer talks have taken place. There is a breaking story this morning. The validity of it, I don't really know, but it is on the United Stand Twitter account at United Stand MUFC. We've put it out just very, very recently, actually. So it's coming in from Spanish sources, Eduardo Burgos being one of them, saying that Man United have rejected the signing of Hermoso. Saudi side Al Shabaab have made an offer that's similar to his demands. Well, I mean, look, those sources straight away may not be the best. I would say that, first of all. Secondly, just because we don't sign him doesn't mean transfer talks haven't taken place. And thirdly, there was credibility to this story. Like, it wasn't just, we've had a couple this summer, haven't we, where there was just nothing in it. Kadioglu, I just don't think there's anything in it. I really don't. I mean, that might change now, but I don't think there's anything in Kadioglu. I think that's just being regurgitated by people who want it to happen. With Hermoso, Fabrizio's mentioned it, a few other people have mentioned it, he's a free transfer. I think United have certainly discussed it, and maybe they'll carry on discussing it today as part of the wider conversations, and we'll go through some of those players they're going to talk about. But this news story is that, breaking, is that United have decided against it and that Saudi Arabia are willing to meet his demands. If there's any semblance of truth in that, and I think we can all figure it out, you can't compete with Saudi Arabian wages. Is what I mean is, like, maybe United are interested in Hermoso for £70,000 a week on a free transfer, but then Saudi Arabia come along and go, we'll give you 150. Well, there's nothing you're going to do about that. You're going to go, forget about it. You have to. You're not going to go, yeah, we'll give you 150 grand a week. We're not going to do that. So maybe there is some truth in that. If Saudi Arabia have come in for him as a free transfer, we know their wages are stupid. And maybe at his age, he wants the wage. So we'll have to see what happens with that. United have certainly considered it. They're probably still talking about it. But if Hermoso wants to go to Saudi Arabia and earn the peas, then, that's up to him. At the end of the day, he was going to be a free transfer, backup, left back, centre back, whatever. I don't think we need to cry over spilt milk. And, if that's what happens, that's what happens. But certainly he would have been a subject of conversation. If it's not a topic now, then you move on to what other options there might be out there. I certainly think, as I said last night, that there will be plenty of left-back options out there. I mean, throw some in. Last season, Cucurella became available, Reguilon, Alonso. I know people like Kadioglu and I like Gutierrez, but they're expensive. They're 20, 25 million. I don't think we've got that sort of money. I think we're talking about loan deals, under £10 million deals, those sort of things. But look, it's maybe Hermoso's still possibility. It's certainly a player that will have been spoken about over the weekend, and it's certainly going to be spoken about today. So this big meeting that United are having today, we'll talk about that. We'll come back to that, but I wanted to start on Hermoso. Let's just have a quick chat about Ligt and about Mazraoui. It's Ligt's 25th birthday today. I can't underestimate or undervalue how excited I am about this player. Nix says he really, really wants Xirkzee. Lots of people saying hello from lots of different people. A lot of people in from South Africa today as well. Hope Saudi wouldn't come after deadline for Casemiro, says Wall. And I'm pumped after Ligt, so have a beer on me, Mark, says Wade. Love that. Thank you very much for your support. And Patrick Lynch with another super chat says, Mark, does this double deal with Ligt and Mazraoui add pressure to Ten Hag? Feels like journalists and rivals are peddling the works with Ten Hag before line as something to pile on the pressure. I mean, look, I got a little bit agitated on the show last night about this, but actually, the sun is shining, the weather is sweet. We've signed Ligt, Mazraoui's coming in, there's another transfer meeting today, things are happening, people are being shown the door in a very, unsubtle way. We're buying centre-backs. We don't need you. You might want to make a move. I think we're going to do that with the midfield very soon. I feel very positive about what's happening. And I don't know about you. I mean, as I said, my Premier League predictions video is coming out on That's Football in about half an hour. I always get very excited when I do that once a year because it's like we're really close to the start of the Premier League and we're really close to Man United playing on Friday. I can't help it. I'm not always the most positive of people, but when I am, I'm over the top and I'm really positive at the moment. I'm really excited. And I think that anybody that wants to try and damage that is just not a fan of Manchester United. I said this last night in a more confrontational way, but I'll say it this morning in a more polite way. We're all Man United fans at the end of the day. We might not agree, and that's absolutely fine, but we do agree on a lot. We do agree on a lot. I mean, somebody, I was reading some of the comments yesterday, and so apparently another channel had an indirect, well, not even an indirect, they had a pop at me. And I went and watched the video, and I was like, well, the old me would probably react in a very different way, but I watched it, and I went, so he agrees with me on Luke Shaw. Why is he not fit? He agrees with me on we will play out from the back better now that we've got better centre-backs. He agreed with me on Lindelof needs to go. He agreed with me on Onana will be better this season. He agreed with me that he supports Ten Hag. And he agreed with me that he was massively excited about De Ligt, but then was taking a pop at me. And I'm like, I've met this person, wouldn't say boo to a goose in real life. He works hard on his content. Maybe he's a bit jealous about how big this community is, I don't know. But ultimately, I ain't getting into it because we've met, you never said anything, and actually we agree on a lot of things. You do your thing, we'll do ours. I ain't interested in any of that. A lot of United fans get into arguments, and actually we do all agree on the same thing. The real enemy here are the people that are not even subtly trying to take us down. Like, the real enemy is the mainstream, whether it's on radio, TV, or journalists. They've dominated this sport for years. And in the new world, they don't dominate anymore. And instead of infighting amongst ourselves, the real threat is the mainstream. The ex-players, everybody like that. They are the real threat because they have an agenda that is just so clear. And you're right, there will be people there trying to turn Ligt and Mazraoui into a negative because they played for Ajax before. But how's about this? Mazraoui is an attacking fullback who is also left-footed. Let me break this down to you. They're flying in. They're here today. They're signing today. They're good players. I mean, we're getting them for a combined less than 60 million quid. And they're both in their mid-20s. They are very, very good players. And they are transformative players for us. They're at Carrington now. They're doing their medical. They're both going to hold the shirt up. I think this is a real change. And I watch United every game with all you lot. And I know he's right-footed, but he's also left-footed as well. He can play off his left is what I meant. He scored some bangers with his left, but we're not necessarily looking for goals. My point is he's a very good player. But my bigger point is this. Last season, people talk about United and how, where's the style of play? Where I had people on the channel last year slagging the manager off. Where's the style of play? He's a joke. He's a fraud. This, that, and the other. And I'm like, you're never going to have a style of play with these players that he's inherited from previous managers and the injuries and the problems off the pitch. We're finally building a structure now. We're finally bringing players in that can get us to play out from the back, play from the defence into the midfield. It's so important. That's why Martinez is so important. Allow Onana to sweep, right? We bring in a right back who is an attacking fullback and sell a right back who is a defensive right back. And people are on the fence going, oh, I don't know about this. The same people that moan about our style of play, the same journalists that moan about how many chances we concede and how we don't have much possession. We bring in an attacking fullback to get rid of a defensive fullback, and people are questioning it. And the same with Ligt. I mean, I couldn't believe some of the stuff I was reading about Ligt. I mean, this is what Rio Ferdinand said about Ligt. It's a big ask for Ligt to make an impact at United. He's coming into Man United and make a difference. I think it's a big ask for him, and all eyes are going to be on him. He goes on to say that big pressure, big opportunity, but there's a lot of uncertainty, I think, with this signing because of his previous seasons with two big clubs not going as well as we'd have anticipated. I mean, tell me you don't follow Ligt without telling me you don't follow Ligt. Big risk, big ask. Because he's not done well at his previous two clubs. The guy was very, very good at Juventus and left there for 70 million quid because he wanted to go to Bayern Munich. People are acting like at Juventus he was a flop. He did really well at Juventus. He won the league there as well. At Bayern, he did well in the first season. Last season, it all went a bit wrong, admittedly. But he's a good player. And again, forget that he's played for Ajax. Forget that he's played for Ten Hag. Is he a centre-back that can play on the halfway line to push the line up, to compress the attack of the opposition? Is he also going to allow Onana to sweep a keep? Is he also going to allow Onana to play out from the back? Because he wants the ball. Yes, yes, and yes. I don't get what the big ask is. I don't get what the criticism is. Bottom line is, whether they're from Ajax or whether they're from Argentina, they're two players that suit the way we want to play. And that has to be a positive. So I don't really understand the negative, but it's definitely there. Definitely there. So yeah, medicals today for those two. I want to go back to this meeting. I want to give you the story on Xirkzee as well. Medicals today. Oh, God, it just feels so good. Medicals today for Ligt and Mazraoui. When it will be official. Look, I'd love to be going live this afternoon at 4 o'clock with them holding up the shirt or 6 o'clock or whatever. I'd love that to happen today. I don't know whether that'll happen. Medicals, pictures. Yeah, it could happen. It could happen. We'll have to just wait and see. But certainly, I think either today or tomorrow they'll be holding up the shirts. What I think is most important is, and I've got two updates for you. I may as well give you them now, actually. So very, very good source on the Xirkzee one. UTD Menace on Twitter. Very, very good. Give him a shout out. I was going to shout out him at the weekend about the Luke Shaw injury. Didn't know whether I could. He said you could have done. UTD Menace. Xirkzee didn't play on Saturday unless it had to happen because he's playing in a behind closed doors game. Now, some think it was yesterday, some think it's today. I didn't hear about it yesterday, so it could be today. But apparently, Ten Hag and the coaches felt that Xirkzee playing a full game behind closed doors today was more important than in playing a few minutes off the bench at Wembley. So at least there's a bit of an explanation there. I mean, whether that... you know what? That was the only problem with Saturday. It was baffling how Xirkzee in our last pre-season game got no minutes and Rasmus is injured. It was baffling because he's a striker and Rasmus is injured. So it was baffling. But there was probably always an explanation there. We just needed to see what it was. And to be fair, if I'm the manager of a team and I'm thinking about giving Xirkzee 20 minutes against Man City, or he's going to play 90 minutes in the next day or so, obviously, you know you've got that in your back pocket. I still think he should have played against Man City in some way, shape or form, but at least there's a bit of an explanation. I don't think there's much chance of Xirkzee starting against Fulham. But the second bit of news for you is that Ligt and Mazraoui will train tomorrow. That is the plan with the first team. They will train tomorrow, which means they will train Wednesday, which means they will have a little bit of a training on Thursday morning ahead of the game on Friday night. So Ligt, Mazraoui will get the full week training with the first team. I think, and it's a hunch, I think that with the issues with Lindelof and the issues with Maguire, I think De Ligt goes straight in on Friday. Because if you don't put him straight in on Friday, as a centre-back, there's no point being on the bench. If you're a striker, you can come on for half an hour. But as a centre-back, what's the scenario you're going to come on? Are we going to be beating Fulham 3-0 with 20 minutes to go? Unlikely. Is it probably going to be quite a close game? Would you then bring him on for 45 minutes? I think he will start on Friday, and I think it's logical that he will, because he's had a bit of a pre-season with Bayern Munich. So I think he'll start on Friday, which would be massive. If we can... The difference between De Ligt and Martinez on Friday and De Ligt and Maguire on Friday is night and day. You play Maguire, we're going to be on the edge of our box. We're going to be vulnerable to pace. You play De Ligt, we're going to be playing we're going to play higher, but also we've got two players who want the ball off Onana. And I think that will just be, joy to the eyes. Angel delight. Absolutely fantastic. A feast for the eyes. John says, at least with these signings, we give Ten Hag a fighting chance to succeed. Now let's get a midfielder and left back. I think top four is a decent chance, says John. Well, what I like about these signings and what we were talking about last week is, and you can only follow the news, can't you? I mean, it was last Monday when Ornstein said that we'd walked away from Agate. Other journalists during the week were saying that De Ligt and Mazraoui were in danger. I think... We also have had people who are obviously want Ten Hag out. We've had people, saying that Ruud van Nistelrooy is clearly going to be the next manager. I feel calmer about that today because I think, well, they've bought Yoro, they've bought De Ligt, they've bought Mazraoui, they've bought Xirkzee. We will get a midfielder in. You can't sit there and go, they're setting Ten Hag up to fail. And then on the other hand, I literally saw a journalist last week who was basically hinting that they're setting Ten Hag up to fail to give Ruud the job at Christmas. And then over the weekend are saying, oh, more Ten Hag signings. And you're like, you don't know your arse from your elbow, mate. On one day, you're saying that Ten Hag's being set up to fail for Ruud. And then 2 days later, you're saying, oh, it's another Ten Hag signing. I mean, look, the truth is, Ruud van Nistelrooy obviously looms there in the background, and I'd rather him over Southgate if Ten Hag ever did get sacked. But... we are giving Ten Hag a chance. We are bringing in players that he would want. Ineos aren't just going to do that just because what Ten Hag wants it. They're going to do it because they think they're the right fit as well. So, yeah, I'm very excited about these two. I've got to be careful because nobody is Harry Potter or whoever is I'm trying to think of someone who's very good at, predicting things. But I just think De Ligt will be so transformative. The same, I felt Martinez was going to be... I remember 2 years ago when Martinez was getting slated by Souness and Carragher and, he's not big enough. And I was just like, they've never watched him play. I'm convinced he'll be good. 2 years down the line, I know he had injuries, but he has been a brilliant signing. I feel the same about De Ligt. I think there's... Let them doubt, because I think they doubt because they're ignorant. And knowledge is power. I think the people who are excited about De Ligt, and I include myself in this, are the people that know what he is. I mean, you still get people saying he's slow, which is hilarious. I am excited about De Ligt because I know what he can be. Obviously, there's no guarantees, but the people who are predicting a failure, I think, are predicting it based on a lack of knowledge of what he is and what we need. And that's really surprising because some of these people have played for the club. Some of these people are fans of the club and they don't see, they're literally going, I don't know why we're buying De Ligt. And you go, you don't know why we're buying De Ligt? You really don't know why we're buying De Ligt? Do you not see that we can't play out from the back and that we're slow in the central areas? Do you not see that we want a ball playing centre back to push the line up with Martinez? Yeah, anyway. Eric Ten Hag is getting this signing, so there's no excuses, NAU. And our biggest problem last year was our defence, says Sticks. Good to see they're fixing our biggest problem first. Exactly. Ten Hag said Xirkzee wasn't at the level to play, says Tweety. And Morning Mark, seeing as South Africans had invaded the chat, you need to familiarise yourself with the word or pronounced it's our bread. Okay, says Elijah. At least with these signings, we give Eric done that one from John. We spent more on Maguire than we have for De Ligt and Mazraoui. Excellent piece of business, says the Sniper Trade. De Ligt is not as good as the Italian we've signed, says Zane, which is Calafiore, if you want to know the name of him. And Kristen says Ashworth and Wilcox would have said no to De Ligt and Mazraoui if they didn't suit the style of play and that they're trying to implement. Exactly, Kristen. Keep up the good work, United Stand, says Yuri the Red. Thanks, pal. Oh, you're a legend, mate. Look at that. 20 memberships gifted by Yuri. That's absolutely fantastic this morning. I love that. And Tony Marcial says, give some love to Yuri in the chat, actually, by the way. Absolutely fantastic. Tony Marcial says, what do you think our summer would have looked like with Qatar in charge, and how embarrassing would it have been with the old regime in charge? Well, the old regime would have been more of the same. I mean, I don't think we need to speculate on Qatar because I think that they would have cleared the debts. The stadium would have been absolutely incredible. And they would have paid for it. So we would have been in a very different position. But we are where we are now, and I think we have to just get on with it. There's no point looking back, is there really? But I also think that, every day there has to be, I believe, challenge. There has to be demands. There has to be expectations. I heard somebody saying that you shouldn't judge a transfer window till the end of the transfer window. And I'm like, I completely disagree, with all due respect. The season starts before the end of the transfer window. So if you wait till August the 31st to judge the transfer window, you drop points. Like, we literally dropped points, but we bought Casemiro and Anthony. Like, we literally dropped points, but we bought Amrabat. Like, you don't wait to the end of the transfer window to judge a transfer window. You can, in a sense that you know the whole story. I get that. But if you start the season and you haven't brought De Ligt and Mazraoui in and you lose 3-0 because you've got Maguire and Lindelof playing at the back, then you can't wait till August the 31st and say, well, let's see what happens, because it's already, the damage is done. So I think that, you have to assess things as it moves along. Otherwise, what's the point? You're just a bloody sheep. And the owners of the Pied Piper, you're just playing along to their tune. The job of any football fan is to put pressure on the owners and praise them when they do well as well. Jamie Russell says, Lucas just tweeted saying De Ligt and Mazraoui's medical both proceeding with hiccups. Both should be available for Fulham. Yeah, he's the king of stating the obvious, mate. I mean, I said that about 10 minutes ago. So, it's not breaking news because I said it 10 minutes ago. And as I said, it was joint news from UTD Menace about why Xirkzee didn't play, because he played behind closed doors. So obviously that's filtered out to the mainstream now. But there's a huge chance that De Ligt will play on Friday because he'll be training tomorrow. Absolutely. And I think it's so important that he does. And I think if Ten Hag is consistent, then he will start him because it's such an important player for him as well. The medicals and pictures are good, but I'm not really looking forward to them. A proper prep for Friday is more important in the bid for top four. Next signing, I'm worried there might be the end of incoming, says Lionel. And our biggest problem last year was our defence. I've done that from Sticks. I see Dead Body says, I have my reserves about De Ligt. He didn't set the world on fire at Bayern, neither Juve. However, he is levels above Maguire. Hopefully he will be for us, says see Dead Bodies. Remember, we've got Yoro as well. I mean, what an amazing, exciting problem to have when you've got De Ligt, Yoro, and Martinez fit, and you can only pick 2. You know, people talk about De Ligt, and I think he's going to be really important, and he's got leadership skills, but Yoro cost 50 million quid. Like, it's really exciting that you've got 2 right-footed centre-backs of the quality of that. If we're to get a Bruno replacement a few years' time, who do you think would be a good replacement? I think Almeida at Botta, says Jordan. I've never really thought about it because Bruno's just about to sign a new contract and we've got Mason Mount, mate. So I'd like to see somebody come through from the reserve, the youth as well. I mean, there's some fantastic players there who are creative. Lacey is one. You know, he's got real Phil Foden vibes about him. So, you know, hopefully we can bring someone through from the youth and not have to buy anyone on that one. Joe, welcome to Members Club. You're an absolute legend, mate. Lionel gifted 5 memberships. Lionel, absolute legend. I don't know whether I've read that one out before, but thank you very much. Appreciate that. Right, let's go back to what we were talking about. We've obviously just spent a few minutes there talking about the medicals which are taking place now for Mazraoui and De Ligt and the huge positives about that. We've also given you the update on Xirkzee. Apparently he's playing a game behind closed doors. That's why he didn't play on Saturday. And there is a huge chance that De Ligt will start against Fulham because he'll be in training from tomorrow morning, which gives him at least 3 days training with the first team. And he should have a good level of fitness anyway. Also, Wan-Bissaka to West Ham. It's funny, actually. I'll always acknowledge something. I mean, I was right. We were right. Last night, I think there was a bit of scaremongering from Sky to say that the Wan-Bissaka deal might fall through, which will impact the Mazraoui deal. And I said, absolutely not. I'd spoken to a couple of people and they'd said no. And I also said on the video that you never get a here we go and it fall through. Literally within an hour, Omaridian fell through after a here we go for Chelsea. So it can happen. But it's not falling through with Man United and Wan-Bissaka. It's not going to fall through. It's going to happen. Mazraoui is having his medical now. Wan-Bissaka, West Ham. I think what happened is there was just a couple of I's to dot and T's to cross. And they've got... I tell you what, you can spell a rude word with T and I. But anyway, that will happen today. So West Ham... Aaron Wan-Bissaka today will happen as well. In relation to that meeting that's taking place today, and let's not forget, these meetings are ongoing. It's not like we meet up every Monday for a Monday morning chat about transfers. There's ongoing things, but this is more of a strategic reset. Where are we? We've got De Ligt, we've got Mazraoui, Wan-Bissaka's gone. What do we want to achieve over the next week? And even Sir Jim Radcliffe said it. If I can get you the quote on this, it was very interesting what Sir Jim Radcliffe said in an interview over the weekend. And I think it sort of displays exactly what where we are. I mean, Fabrizio has just said 20 minutes ago, Man United want both De Ligt and Mazraoui available for Fulham. So that's coming out from Fabrizio. So that information we got for the morning show is absolutely a star because it's now hitting people like Fabrizio, the Manchester Evening News, which is great there. So this quote from Sir Jim was about the way the team, the structure is being run. And lots of pictures of the third kit coming out this morning, by the way, which, if you like kits, I don't think it looks too bad. But he said this: we've got some very good people and some fresh faces. You can't put your head in the sand. You have to face facts. It needed a fresh start, and that's what we have done. So Fivell, recruitment director, Wilcox, technical director, Barada, CEO, Ashworth, sporting director. You know, we've got that expertise now, and that's where we are. And I think that part of that expertise is, you know, Dan Ashworth hasn't took the kids to Centre Park on Monday, and Barada ain't in Disneyland. It's now. This is our time. We can't do this in a month. We can't do this in November. We can do it now with 3 weeks left in the window. Let's get our heads together. Let's have a look. We've spoken about Hermoso. Probably not going to happen if that news story this morning is true. But, you know, what are the options at left back? Let's see where we go next. I think that Agate is the priority now, this week, to get that deal done. He won't play against Fulham. Casemiro's had a bit of a renaissance, and I think that there is a feeling in the fan base that will get by with Casemiro, Mainu and Bruno against Fulham. I still think it's a weak area, but that's for a preview on Wednesday. I still think Casemiro is a weak area in a Premier League game, but the test will be on Friday. But longer term, I think United know that they need to get Xirkzee in. And I think that will be the focus this week. McTominay, I still think, could leave. What we know is that there is no appetite for Man United to let him play against us on Friday. And I don't think there's much appetite from McTominay to play against Man United in his first game at Old Trafford either. So maybe there's a bit of a drift on that afterwards towards the end of the week, so he can't play against Man United. But I still think McTominay and Fulham could happen. And Xirkzee would certainly be helped by that deal. And I think also, as we spoke about, there'll be Lindelof, there'll be Maybury, there'll be Pellistri, there'll be Sancho, and those conversations will be going. And there may well be other people knocking on the door, like Christian Eriksen, saying, why didn't I play on Saturday? I want to move as well. So I expect it to be a really busy next 2 to 3 weeks for Manchester United. And I certainly think that we're in that area now where, things can happen at any time. I mean, that was just an amazing Saturday hour, wasn't it? Between 1 o'clock and kickoff against Man City. We got 3 here we goes, 3 deals done. So they've got to go all in now because time's running out. And you don't want to be left there on September the 3rd going, I wish we'd done this, I wish we'd done that. So there's enough specialists there. And I suspect the meeting today will very much be about what's left, what do we need to do to make these things happen. And as I say, I think there might be a few surprises today from agents speaking to Dan Ashworth saying what's happening with my client. Like, he didn't play at the weekend, or you've just bought this centre-back. And that does happen. Like, that happens at any level of football. I've done some coaching before, and you've got parents coming up and saying, why aren't you picking them? And this is parents of 25-year-olds, So it happens at every level, and it will certainly happen at Man United. There will be agents or even players speaking to people at United today going, I see you've got De Ligt and Yoro. Where does that put me in it then? Because I want to play for my national team. I want to play first team football. That will happen across the whole team. And even some people who got game time on Saturday, if you think about Eriksen, if you think about McTominay, if you think about Sancho, it's all off the bench. They might be going, realistically, how much game time am I going to get? Because I don't want to spend a season on the bench either. So a lot of that will go. I'm all for that. That's another positive. That's another big positive, because you can't force players out by asking them to go when your squad gives them a chance for the first team. But you can show them the door. They've got to walk through it by bringing players in and going, look, your chances are going to get less and less. Clark is in the chat. Hope you're doing well, mate. Not heard from you for a while. Thanks very much for your super chat. Says, morning, Mark. If we go all out, key signings in, and there was still a week left in the window, who would you go for next as outside the box signing? Well, I've mentioned Ivan Toney. I mean, I think it's worth throwing a bid at Brentford on the final day of 30 million because they're not going to get anything else. He's got a year left on his contract. I'd love an Evan Ferguson. I would love, an out-and-out striker just to come in. I'd love 2 midfielders. But priority is get that midfielder in, get that left-back in, maybe get that second midfielder in, and I'd be very, very happy with that. Chiesa to United would be a great deal, says Shawa. I mean, look, we wanted Elise. He was a number 1 priority signing, and we lost out to Bayern. It's one of them things. We couldn't do that deal. I think in a couple of years' time, when we're in a bit better position on the pitch and off the pitch, we'd have got that deal done. It was just a little bit out of our reach for summer 1. But that shows that we do want a winger. And I don't think the amazing pre-season that Ahmad's had has shocked anybody. I think they were looking at Elise and Ahmad and Anthony and Garnacho and Rashford. So, I mean, a winger's still possible, but I think Chiesa... I don't think Chiesa feels like anything other than paper talk, if I'm being honest on that. What's your thoughts on Madrid wanting Dalot, says Kenzo? I'm very happy. I mean, they're not going to get him, and it shows you the quality of Dalot. I mean, I want to go back to those days where Inter Milan want Scholes or Juventus want Roy Keane. I want those days because it means you're doing well. The reason Man City and Arsenal and Liverpool have done well in the transfer market on sales over the last few years is because they're good teams. People get panicky when you get big clubs wanting your players. It doesn't mean you have to sell them. It means you're doing well. If big clubs are looking at your players, I mean, Real Madrid are always going to be the pinnacle of football. So, Real Madrid at times have wanted Salah. They didn't get him. They've wanted Van Dijk. They didn't get him. So they wanted De Bruyne. They didn't get him. So just because they want your players doesn't mean they're going to get him. And if you want to be the best, then you've got to have players that people want. Look, Real Madrid would probably be very interested in Kobe Mainoo. They will be very interested in Garnacho. If they want to add a few more to that list, great. Ram, welcome to Members Club. Thank you very much. You're a legend. Kong says, Lenny Yoro understudying Martinez and De Ligt is going to be an absolute mentality monster. Well, our only danger this year, and we've already seen it with Yoro and Rasmus, is injury. If injury happens, that's my biggest concern this season, because it's such... I heard it again. It's such a mental drain, isn't it? It's such a sick feeling, injuries. And you can't do anything about it. That's my only concern this year. If we can keep everybody fit and make the signings I think we're going to make in the next 2 weeks, we've got a great chance of 4th place or top 4, like we said last night. Mojo is a legend. He's not the only one who's gifted memberships this morning, but he's gifted 20. Big shout out to Mojo, well known in the chat, absolute legend. Hope you're doing well, pal. And Ryan Wilson says, I can't wait for this season coming. I know we won't set the league alight, but it's so much more positive. Great show, says Ryan. Look, I felt it on Sunday morning show was probably the most positive show we've ever had, and it's always Toxic Sunday. We've had some really, really great shows over the last few days, and I think the mood is shifting. As I said, I don't think the enemy is within. I think the enemy is outside. And that makes me feel excited as well, because it was always siege mentality under Sir Alex. Everybody hated us, like they did. Hated and adored, but never ignored. The press want us to fail. I reacted to it the other day when Simon Jordan was at it, but at the end of the day, he's not a Man United fan. He's got a job. His job is to slate Man United for clicks. Let them crack on. They aren't Man United fans. Let them take their shots. My big issue is when ex-players do it or the Man United media train do it, because they're invited into press conferences and it's very clear that they're saboteurs. They don't want us to do well. They're the enemy. But I think over the last 2 years, they've been sat down as well because no one listens to them either. So the biggest problem is the enemy within. And most people I speak to at the moment are really positive. There are still a few, you see them on social media, there's still a few. They were moaning about Bruno getting a contract. They don't like Ten Hag. It's fake smiles. We all know that. But you keep them people quiet by proving them wrong. And only Ten Hag can do that. It's a big season for Ten Hag. We won. We kept Ten Hag. It's a new battle now. We were right to keep Ten Hag. He's been backed. Needs a bit more, but this season he's got to show that faith that we've all given him, and we've spoken about it. If he's gonna bench Ahmad on Friday, it's a bloody disgrace. It sends the wrong message. But if De Ligt starts, it probably swamps that message, doesn't it? So it's ups and downs. Ultimately, he will be judged. If he wants to go down the favourite route and he loses games of football, then he will get double the criticism, won't he? If he goes down the favourite route and we're winning games, he won't get criticised. Ecos says, good morning, great show, 2 million. Yeah, we go. Yeah, we're on that road to 2 million. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Thank you, Ecos. Tom Grant, we've done that one as well. Jordan, we did that. Thank you very much. Just quickly, isn't it weird that Sancho's Instagram still has Dortmund pics and not a single United pic, even his profile pic? I think it's unprofessional, says Love United, hate the ops. Look, we go where the show goes. I haven't mentioned Rashford today, and I don't want to, and I wouldn't have mentioned Sancho, but you have. That's the way it goes. I said last night, and I got a bit of stick for it, that I would sell Sancho over Anthony. Sancho's a better player, but I just don't feel right about this Sancho scenario. A year ago, he refused to play for 3 months when we needed him. He then went to Dortmund, and it was like, I'm back where I belong. As you've said, I don't know what his Instagram says. We've had no apology, and he's walking around in a Man United kit, and there's talk of him staying for the season. I mean, if he's going to stay, there needs to be... This is why I think he's going to leave. because I don't think he's really staying. I don't think he probably, I don't know whether he wants to stay, but I think he knows he's going. I think United know they're going to try and get rid of him as well. I think if he was staying, a lot more would have been done. You know, if he was staying, I'm sure we'd have had the interview. If he was staying, they'd probably sit them both down together. If he was staying, it probably would say Man United on his Instagram. It just, at the moment, it feels like it's a bit of a halfway house. And if he is going to stay, then I think they need to put the work in. Because you can't be a football club that's been all about PR for 10 years and then not be about it when it doesn't suit you. So I just feel like at the moment, you're probably right. It just feels like a little bit like a halfway house where it's sort of like we're all expecting to part ways before August 31st. But, you know, maybe that won't happen. And if it doesn't, I think there needs to be a lot of work put into that. Richard Smith says the De Ligt transfer is huge for Yoro's development. It's still doing it, you know. I've heard it twice in the last 5 minutes. This rumbling and a clear blue sky and there's nothing going on. It's very, very disconcerting. The De Ligt transfer is huge for Yoro's development. He was captain aged 18. Who better for Yoro to learn from, says Richard. Sat Yajit, welcome to Members Club. Thank you very much. Solid Blake has gifted a membership. And Ray Carl Brown Amore, an absolute legend of the chat. He's been with us for years, has gifted 5 memberships. Thank you. Hope you're doing well, Ray. And Sahil says, we're signing players that want to take the next step. Exactly the kind of players United need. No more Galacticos, please. Thank you very much. And Nishant says, I'm 90% sure Ten Hag will pick Ahmad on the right, Garnacho on the left, and Rashford as striker, and won't pick Xirkzee. Well, that's a way. Nishant, I ain't got a problem with that. I can't moan about that because my problem is not per se Rashford. That's not my problem. My problem is Garnacho and Ahmad are the best 2 wingers we've got, and we need to beat Fulham. I don't want to take any risks with that. I just want to win the game. If he wants to put Rashford up front, then, you know, that's absolutely fine. I've got no problem with that. But I feel like you want to be attacking. I mean, look, I don't want to do a Fulham preview on a Monday morning, but would you go Rashford as a striker? It's never really worked that well anyway, but would you rather Rashford as a striker over Bruno and then mount in behind him? I want to see Bruno, Mainu, and I suppose Casemiro. I don't want to see Bruno as a false 9 against Fulham. So if you're not going to play Xirkzee, it has to be Rashford, to be fair. So maybe that is a way around it. The rumbling is Harp Technology. It's just done it again. A massive one that was. Oh, is that some sort of conspiracy theory? Yeah, it is. Truth or fake? What is the Harp conspiracy theory? Yeah, well, we're definitely getting loads of it. Joe Bryant says, can you give my dad Andy and sister Fran a shout out? Big fans of the channel. Can you also call Fran a Pratt, says Joe. There you go. Thank you, Joe. How's Seb, says Lewis. He played brilliant yesterday. Really, really well. I was very, very pleased with him yesterday, actually. His game is developing really nicely. Bringing it out from the back. He was. They only play 5-a-side, so goalie, and then it's a 2-2 because it's under. Is it under 8s they play or is it under 7s? And anyway, he's quite good at the back because he always wears number 5 because he loves Harry Maguire. But he even does the Harry Maguire runs now, where he'll pick it up in the half, and if there's space, he just ventures forward like Harry Maguire. It's funny. He really does love Harry Maguire. Hi, Mark. Can you do a poll? Sal Anthony or Sancho, says Omran. I mean, I will do, but we've done it before. It's a bit like UK Gold. I mean, I know it will end up with Sancho about 80%, which is what happened before. I'm just saying, I just don't feel Sancho. It just feels a bit weird around him at the moment. Gabrielle, thank you. Gifted a membership. Thank you very much. There was something else I wanted to talk to you about this morning, and I've completely forgotten what it was. Somebody said, who do you think will be the next player out at Manchester United? Just on De Ligt, by the way, birthday today, 25. Signing for Man United on your 25th birthday. That is no age. That is no age. Mason Mount's older than De Ligt. Like, 25 is nothing. He's done so much in his career. Like, 25, we are getting... What I'm saying is the age of De Ligt is immaterial. This really is about whether he succeeds or not. Because if he does succeed, you're getting 5-6 years of him in his prime. That's all that matters. So the age is irrelevant. 24, 23, 25, 26, it doesn't matter. And he's only just 25 today. So, yeah, well, very, very good signing on paper, but it's grass that it's played on. Shane Donnell, welcome to Members Club. Loving the positivity this morning. Who do I think will be sold for next? Well, Wan-Bissaka obviously officially will be next. But I think with... yeah, I think... Ooh, it's a tough one. It's a tough one, and I think it's a tough one because I think there's so many. I don't think it will be McTominay, if I'm being completely honest. I think you've got Lindelof is going to definitely leave. Mabry's going to leave. Pellistri will leave, unfortunately. I'll talk about Pellistri when he goes because I think it's different to everybody else. I think he's a player that most of us wouldn't get rid of, but just won't get a chance. I'd love him to go to Bologna as well. I think that would be a great move for him. Eriksen, Sancho. I think Sancho's going to go back end of the window. Eriksen's going to go back end of the window. Maguire is an outside, could go. I mean, I want us to... I'm going to tell you the truth now, right? I can't want Maguire to leave. I know you're going to boo me. I don't want Maguire to leave. I did that video on Saturday afternoon where Seb walked in for De Ligt, and he genuinely was gutted that we were signing De Ligt. And then he said to me yesterday, he said, do you think Maguire will still play for Man United, Daddy? And I went, well, he's very determined and you just don't know. And he was like, I really hope he doesn't get sold. I can't do that to my son. I can't sit here on a show and go, I want Maguire to go, when he'd be devastated, genuinely devastated. So the way I look at it now is, if Man United have got Harry Maguire as their fourth choice centre-back, he would start for a lot of Premier League clubs outside of the top 6. He'll be gone in a year anyway. What problem does it cause us if Maguire stays? Like, really, what does it... The only problem is if Ten Hag starts him and benches De Ligt and Euro. If he's fourth choice centre-back for Man United, what problem does it cause us? You know, he came in last season and did a job for us. So if he's fourth choice centre-back, we're getting a very good fourth choice centre-back. All right, we're paying him 190 grand a week. What I'm saying is, yeah, ideally you'd remove the wage and he would leave, etc. But if he stays, it's not a massive problem for us, is it? Because if he goes, you've got Martinez, De Ligt, Euro and Evans. And unless you bring Hermoso in, we probably do need 5. The bigger issue is for him. It's all right us going, well, let's keep him as fourth choice centre-back. But the bigger issue for him is if he's fourth choice centre-back, he can't play for England. I think the problem more is whether Maguire wants to stay, really. Exactly. Somebody said you just need to sell it to Seb and get rid of him. I think you're right. I think what could happen is if Maguire decides to go, I'll say to Seb, we didn't sell him. He just said, I've had a really good time at Man United and I want to go and have another challenge. Yeah. Maguire FC got to go, Mark, says River. Maguire FC got to Mark, says River. Tom Grant says 23k watching, unrivaled content, Mark. 2 million, here we go. It's amazing at the moment. Absolutely amazing. I mean, what a community. It's absolutely smashing it out of the park. I mean, we've been doing this for 10 years, and I think the way the channel is at the moment, it's never been so vibrant and watched, and it's brilliant. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, just strength to strength. So it's so exciting. Positivity sells. You know, positivity sells. It's 23,000 at 10 o'clock in the morning. Positivity sells. All these people over the years who've said, oh, United stand just grows on negativity. Nah, it's never been like that. I remember the Europa League final, 100,000 people watching, 23,000 watching on a Monday morning at 10 o'clock. That positivity sells, 100%. But you know what? It has to be genuine. positivity. It can't be, hello, I'm positive, I never say anything negative, oh, I just love everybody. That won't work because it's insincere and it's fake. You've got to go on the journey to positivity is what I'm saying. It's got to be authentic. You've got to have the, oh my God, we've done this. Oh my God, we're not doing that. Oh my God, we're not doing this. Oh shit, look at what we've done. You've got to build genuine positivity and hope. And I think that's what people feel at the moment. There's a pin there and there's a balloon and it will get popped. We've all been here at the start of the season, but at the moment, heading into that Fulham game, probably one of the most exciting seasons we've had. I'm not going to pretend like when Mourinho's first summer, there was a lot of excitement. We're going to win the league because Mourinho wins the league in the first 2 years of every club he goes to until he comes to Man United. Van Gaal's first summer, there was a lot of excitement. You know, I think it's the most exciting Ten Hag season though, because I think Ten Hag's first summer, he was taking over the worst ever United Premier League side. I don't think anybody was saying we're going to win the league. Whereas with Jose, it felt like we could. So I think it's the most exciting Ten Hag season because there's finally a bit of a structure there. We're finally starting to do things, but there's still work to be done. There is still work to be done. We shouldn't rest on our laurels and start getting out the Ineos flags yet. There's still a lot to do. In fact, I would say if the transfer window closed today, I would still only give this window a 6 or a 7. I still think probably a 6 actually, because you'd still have Casemiro, Sancho, Eriksen, Maguire, Lindelof, McTominay. They'd still all be here. And you still wouldn't have a midfielder or a left back. So for me, we're on a journey, but we're still a 6 at the moment. I still think there's more to be done. And I think there will be more to be done. How the dog doing? Not seen it for a bit, says Olsen. Well, last 2 weeks, you might have noticed Moody Bridge a little bit more frequent. That's what happens when you're not getting your sleep. It's getting a little bit better. But funnily enough, we've had better shows over the weekend. And is that something to do with them getting a little bit more sleep? It's like I don't know how many of you have had puppies or babies, but there is a similarity. Getting up and constant attention. But it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. I'm excited to see us play out from the back, says We Are United 99. Oh, you know what? It's like the Holy Grail, isn't it? Sometimes I feel I'm chasing the Holy Grail. Like when I say, when you take a pop at Lindelof and Maguire and Evans and you say, higher up the pitch, they're always playing deep, they don't want the ball. You almost feel like you're trying to convince yourself at times, but genuinely it will happen. If you play Martinez and Yoro or Martinez and De Ligt, and you can have Shaw and Delo with Mazraoui backing them up, and an Arna in goal, we factually will play out from the back. We factually will get higher up the pitch, which will compress the team, the opposition, and retract the space in the midfield that we saw last year. I can't wait to see it. Do you miss Fred, says HK? I mean, I do sort of miss Fred in a way, but not enough that I'm bothered. Ben Kelly says, are you going to be doing an FC 25 career mode? Mate, I was on YouTube the other day, and my recommendations was TUSFC career mode, the one with Kenton, Goldbridge and Proctor, and it was an hour and 10 minutes, and it was the whole story of it from start to finish. Well, I was up till midnight watching it, and now I keep getting recommended, and I'm like, I'm definitely doing a career mode. I've got FC 25 on the beta as well. I've played it a couple of times. I played it the day Liverpool was smashing the shit out of me. Got Bruno sent off and then equalised at Anfield with Garnacho right at the end. So I'm hooked, but I probably will do one, yeah. This channel will always be hated because it's the biggest, never ignored. Good work as always, United stands. You've got many fans here in Scotland, says Olsen. Thank you very much. Should be able to announce, hopefully very soon, what we're doing for the Christmas show this year. We're in Manchester last year. We wanted to be in Dublin. I was going to announce it, and they gave the venue to somebody else. So it's not looking great for Dublin at the moment. It's got to be a venue with 1,000, which is just how big this community is now. I mean, look, I'm not being big-headed, but if we did 400, it's pointless. So it's got to be a venue that holds 1,000. We might be looking at Cardiff now. If anyone's involved in promotions or anything like that, get in contact. We're looking at a Monday in December because it's the only day we can guarantee United won't be playing because there are midweek Premier League games, there are Europa League and all that. So Shane Dowell says, thoughts on signing Tony? I feel like a lot of the chances Ahmad set up in the Community Shield would have had him at the end. Says Shane. I think, look, mate, honestly, I think it's probably worth a go. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure about it. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens with that. But it might be worth just throwing in a bid, if you know what I mean. I'm just going to whack this in the video description. We've gone on a long time today. I've got a De Ligt show coming out for you very, very soon. Worth a watch. But my Premier League predictions is very famous in the That's Football community. If you're not part of That's Football, maybe you just aren't interested in football beyond Manchester United. But if you are aware of it, this video comes out once a year. And I react to it once a year in May. Premier League predictions. Who's going to win the league? Who's going to get top 4? I even go down to top 8 this year. Relegation, Player of the Year, Manager of the Year, Golden Boot, Europa League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, Champions League. It's all there. And I'd add a few. I recorded it last night. So my Premier League predictions, links in the live chat. I'll pin it in the video description as well. You can go and check that out. I'm going to go and watch it myself. I remember I relegated Man City, but there was a good reason. And Man City fans are already moaning in the chat about Juggernaut and stuff. We need to go and ambush them. Go and check it out. Legends this morning. Thank you, everybody. I wish people would stop using the word legends in the football community as well. I've been using that for years. It's my word. Like Pratt. Anyway. In Sancho's defence, his first season he came into the worst United side ever. Second season, bench for Anthony. Never really had a chance, says Jack of Trades, 33. Yeah, because he's not a 10-arc signing, you're right. Get yourself to Glasgow. Stay away from Ibrox, says Olsen. Pelistri is forgotten. What's next for him? I think it will be a move, His Royal Highness. Go and check out the Premier League predictions. Links in the live chat. I'll put it in the comments as well. Legends this morning. We've got an 8 o'clock show tonight. I've got a video on De Ligt coming up, and we probably will have at some point some official interviews and pictures and reaction to Mazraoui and De Ligt, which I'm convinced will be both of them holding the shirt together with Ten Hag on the centre circle at Old Trafford. Let's see. Speak to you in a bit.